Okay. So this evening, sorry to start so late. I had a little technical difficulties, and if you're watching at this in the ICU group, you're watching the replay. And if you're with me on Clubhouse, this is just an audio. So this is relaxation and story time, and today I wanted to highlight pranayama before we started our story. So I first learned about pranayama, which is a breathing technique connected to yoga. And prana means breath. So one time, a long time ago, I must have been in my 20s. I'm in the over 50 club now. And one of my neighbors upstairs was so noisy that, I could barely get any sleep, right? So my friend Jamal, he was a book vendor in my neighborhood that used to sell all kinds of books, and he used to help me learn all sorts of things. And he said, anything in your environment is the result of what's happening within you. And he said that if you have any kind of turmoil going on within, you're going to experience turmoil without. He said, but the good thing and the good news is if you can quiet yourself within, you can quiet your environment at the same time without. And so I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, I'm going to show you something to do, and it's called pranayama. He said, and what it does is, you align your breath and your breathing and everything as you lay there, and everything around you, even though you're breathing and doing the breath exercise, everything outside you will get quiet. Traffic will slow down where you are. All kind of peace will start happening around you because peace is within you. And he said, and you can do it anytime. And he said, here's a little book to read. And he gave me this little thin pink pamphlet, and it was so amazing. And I read that pamphlet over and over and over throughout the years. I actually still had the pamphlet all these, like maybe 30 years, until about 4 years ago when I moved here and all my books got lost in the move. But anyway, pranayama can help with almost anything. I mean, weight loss, circulation, everything. And it's the equivalent of, really great exercise without really moving. Believe it or not, you can get the benefits that, exercising on a daily basis can give you just using that breathing technique. So, what I used to do, and the goal is to do 10 sets of 10. So you would start out simple and easy for yourself, but you would build yourself up. And so what I used to do is that I used to lay down flat, right? But you can sit up straight as long as your back and spine are aligned. That's fine. Or if you can lay down flat, don't have a pillow under your head or anything to elevate your head and leave the rest of your body down. Always lay where your spine and your neck and everything can be aligned. So I would lay down, and then I would breathe in through my nose and make sure my belly was extended, and then I would breathe out through my mouth and make sure my belly went all the way in. And I would breathe in through my nose, make sure the belly went out, and then breathe out through my mouth, letting out all the air, making sure that my belly was caving in. And so basically, when I would breathe in, I would hold it for about 10 seconds, and then I would breathe it out for 10 seconds. So it's breathing in for a count of 10, holding it for a count of 10, and then slowly breathing it out for a count of 10. Okay? We'll try one together. Okay? So you can begin to use the pranayama for yourself at night if you're having a hard time getting to sleep. The same way we use the anapana. If you haven't been here for any of the other story times, you can go back and review those. They'll be on YouTube soon, but you can see them on some of my Facebook lives, and I'm going to put them also on Instagram so people will have more access to them. But all of the other story times I've done have included a relaxation technique with either the singing bowls or a breathing technique connected to Vipassana meditation, which is Anapana. And using Anapana or using pranayama, it can help you if you can't go to sleep at night to be able to fall asleep within 15 minutes or so. Okay, so now you have been able to add another option to being able to relax yourself if you have anxiety, or being able to get yourself to sleep if you have been having trouble to fall asleep really quickly. Okay, so tonight's story is a really, really short story, and it's a Greek mythology creation story about Mother Earth and how Mother Earth began and what happened and all of that. So the name for Mother Earth in Greek mythology is Gaia. Okay, so we're going to read the story about Gaia. And I like this book, which I wish the Clubhouse people could see, but maybe if they watch the replay of this somewhere, they'll be able to finally put some visuals to the sounds. And is this book wonderful? I got this out of my daughter's room. She's not here right now, but she left this book behind when she moved out, and I thought it would be a wonderful book to read one story at a time, you know. Treasury of Greek Mythology. And it's classic stories of gods, goddesses, heroes, and monsters. Okay? Beautiful illustrations. I'll share them with you as I'm reading. So, Treasury of Greek Mythology. Classic stories of gods, goddesses, heroes, and monsters. So the introduction says, some things about daily life can be counted on. The sun rises, crosses the sky, and sets. Stars come out at night. Rivers flow toward the sea. The air and land and waters burst with life. These life forms feed one another. Plants are eaten by animals, which are eaten by other animals, but there are also interruptions. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and storms. Life on Earth is complex. From our earliest records of human activity, we can conclude that people recognized this complexity and wanted to explain it. So far as we know, humans are the only creatures who entertain a wide variety of questions about the nature of existence. The questions that people from different societies raise are often quite similar, but the answers they give and the relative importance they assign to these answers can be significantly different. And those answers define the human values of our society. They are at once based on intellect, experience, and emotion. And from them, we draw our ethics, our rituals, and our storytelling. In this book, we find answers offered by the ancient Greeks to many of the questions humans long to understand. But we also find gods, goddesses, heroes, and monsters who love and hate and grow jealous and get duped. They are blessed and cursed with all the emotions that enrich and plague ordinary humans. In reading the myths, we begin to understand that the ancient Greeks must have wanted more than just the big answers from their gods. They must have also wanted their gods to be a reflection that could help them understand themselves. Some pictures. So, okay. So from the earliest nothingness came air and water and earth, and all churning and whirling until they were inextricably bound, and life became inevitable. A tree sprouted and grew strong and unruly, fruited with gods and goddesses whose powers thrived under the sun and moon and stars, stretching into every corner of the universe. That tree would nourish and confound the lives of the simple mortals yet to come. And here's a list, and there's like a map of, the Olympus family tree. Yeah, it's hard to see that, but so now, okay, that we have explained all of that, we get to see the story start about Gaia. That's the illustration. Isn't that beautiful? Gaia, Mother Earth. Okay. So, Gaia, Mother Earth. How do you get something from nothing? Not easily, it would seem. From empty chaos, somehow sea and earth and air appeared. They drifted around, pieces of each other, getting lost in the other. No water was swimmable. No land was walkable. No gas was breathable. Anything hot would quickly turn cold, and anything cold could burst into flames. Shapes shifted. Textures shifted. Objects emerged and merged one into the other, effortlessly. Then suddenly, slam. One or both turned inexplicably hard. What was heavy became weightless. What was weightless crashed through earth and sea and air, shattering and splattering and scattering bits of everything and nothing. Rules of nature, they didn't operate. Indeed, there was no nature. There was nothing reliable in this turmoil except lack of order. And lack is the essence of need. Out of that original need came the mother force, Gaia, all on her own. Need can do that. Gaia sucked up heat and stored it in her heart. She wrapped herself round and round with anything solid she could reach, growing firmer with each layering. She pulled together her glassy sands, lifting them grain by grain, free of air, to form deserts, free of water, to form beaches. She pushed together gigantic plates of rock until her mountains rose high, so far from her scalding heart that snow settled on her peaks. As Gaia disentangled herself from the waters and the gases, the seas fell together in giant puddles. The heavens arched over it all. And this way the emergence of Gaia led to both the wholeness of the seas, called Pontus, and the wholeness of the heavens, called Uranus. But Gaia was generous, as a mother should be. She opened her veins so water could rush through rivers and creeks, and pool together in large, low lakes and small, hidden ponds. She yielded here and there to the gases, allowing crevices to cradle them. One in particular, which was huge and gaping, the waiting hole for the dead. But at this point, She didn't know that. She knew things only as they happened, like a child encountering everything for the first time. She created the whole almost as though she understood instinctually all the gain and loss that will follow from her generosity. The seas learned from Gaia and welcomed islands. The skies learned from Gaia and welcomed stars. And then the seas and skies went further and worked together to cycle water from the salty seas to the skies, then fresh and sweet to the lands, who returned it once more to the seas. But Gaia was not the only child of the enormous original need. There were two others. One was Tartarus, the underworld. The other was Eros, the god of love. Then chaos gave a giant yawn, and out flowed the total darkness of night, as well as Erebus. Erebus, like Gaia, was a place as well as a force seeking to fill crannies. Erebus settled into the hole for the dead and became the upper part of the underworld. Eros was beautiful, but not ordinary beautiful. Eros's beauty made the others quiver. It made them dream and being enveloped in warm caress of being it made them dream of being enveloped in warm caresses, of getting drunk on thick, creamy honey, of swooning from ambrosia, of whirling to tinkling music, of being dazzled by sparkles in the lightless world. So Night and Erebus fell in love, and Night gave birth to Day. And with light in the lushness of fresh and salty water, and in the expansiveness of air, life on earth began. Grasses and vines wound their way around the globe. Bushes gently bloomed. Gaia watched Night and Erebus with envy. She felt so alone. She was the cause of all this wonder, and yet none of it satisfied her. She was hungry, longing, needy. And so she turned to the heavens and the seas, Uranus and Pontus. She loved them both, of course, but Uranus seemed soothing, while Pontus seemed raging. So she chose Uranus as her husband. I'm going to show you the picture. Can you see that? Oh, that's great. Yeah. All right. So basically it's saying how the earth, right, got created. And it sounds like to me the Big Bang theory, that scientific theory that everything came bursting from a big bang, right, that happened in the universe, and then we all started, the trees and everything. So there's a little caption here that says, "Let there be light." Around the world, stories of the creation of life appear. Usually the sun plays an important role in these stories, which is no surprise, given how important the sun is to life on earth. Greek mythology is different in a strange way, though. Daylight appears early in the creation story, but daylight is not connected to the sun, at least not initially. Interestingly, in the book of Genesis, the appearance of light also precedes the appearance of the sun. So this is the book we're reading from, and I'm probably going to read each one. So now the next one is the story of Uranus, I believe. And we'll just keep going. Okay, and if you want to buy this book, I got this book actually a long time ago at the Barnes & Noble, but I would imagine you could order it. Treasure of Greek Mythology. You can maybe order it on Amazon. So I would like to open up the floor on Clubhouse for a Q&A about creation stories. And I'm going to say goodnight to the Facebook family and tell them I will see them tomorrow.